corruption thrives at local level, it directly impedes development, erodes public trust, and ultimately stunts the development of our nation.
If fathers are going to get the point, we must take the stories of the impact of the corruption we have in this nation. You see, when people die on the roads, we don't think about politicians. We don't think about people in power. But when people die on the roads don't make themselves. Somebody failed in his responsibility. If we do not educate in that wise, we will never improve the character and the condition of the men in our society.
Hello and welcome to Transparency Files, your weekly television program brought to you by the Independent Corrupt Practices and Other Related Offences Commission, ICPC. I am your host, Awasani Garba. Corruption remains a major challenge in many societies, including ours. But the fight against it does not start in courtrooms. It starts in our homes. Fathers as role models and leaders within the family have a powerful influence in shaping the values of future generations. In today's edition, we turn the spotlight on fathers as anti-corruption champions. We will show how everyday actions, conversations around the dinner table, decisions made at home can lay the foundation for a more transparent society. We will also examine how fathers who model integrity and accountability within the family can inspire broader societal change. Coming up on the program, our featured story on responsible fatherhood and the fight against corruption. A special edition of Know Your Acts, updates from ICPC state offices, and other exciting segments you won't want to miss. But first, Ruth Awodi is standing by with anti-corruption highlights.
Welcome to this segment on anti-corruption stories. I am Ruth Awodi. ICPC has reiterated its commitment to enhancing accountability and curbing corruption within Nigeria's local government systems. This was declared during a strategic meeting with members of the National Anti-Corruption Coalition, NACC, on the theme Accountability and Corruption Prevention in Local Governments, held at the Commission's headquarters in Abuja. Speaking at the event, the chairman of ICPC, Dr. Musa Adamu Aliyu SAN, who emphasized the vital role accountable local government councils play in fostering national development, asserted that local governments remain susceptible to numerous forms of corruption, ranging from diversion of public funds, employment of ghost workers, to contract inflation, challenges which severely hinder grassroots development and erode public trust. Dr. Aliyu underlined the Commission's broader anti-corruption mandate, which goes beyond investigations and prosecution and includes preventive measures, public education, and the promotion of integrity across all sectors. He declared the meeting a strategic platform to generate practical and actionable anti-corruption solutions.
When corruption thrives at local level, it directly impedes development, erodes public trust, and ultimately stunts the development of our nation. It is in the interest of trust reposed in public officials that the very people they are meant to serve. The ICPC fully recognizes the critical role that a robust and accountable local government system plays in national development.
One of the highlights of the event was a presentation by Dr. Umar Yakubu, CEO of the Center for Fiscal Transparency and Public Integrity, who delivered a paper titled Local Government Accountability Initiatives. Additionally, Mr. Bello Bakori, Deputy Director of ICPC's Constituency and Executive Project Tracking Initiative, presented a paper on measures of combating corruption in local government councils in Nigeria. The strategic meeting drew participation from ICPC directors, commission staff, members of the National Anti-Corruption Coalition, key stakeholders, and members of the media. In another development, the chairman of ICPC, Dr. Musa Adamu Aliyu SAN, has reaffirmed the Commission's commitment to fostering transparency-driven collaboration with the Niger Delta Development Commission, NDDC. This assurance was the highlight of a high-level meeting between the two agencies held at the ICPC headquarters in Abuja. Key outcomes of the meeting included a mutual agreement to review and strengthen operational processes to directly address systemic inefficiencies and enhance transparency strategies aimed at accelerating the delivery of development projects in the Niger Delta region in line with the NDDC's mandate. To formalize and deepen the partnership, Dr. Liu disclosed that ICPC will develop an anti-corruption memorandum of understanding (MOU) to be signed by both institutions.
What I keep on saying is that all of us that becomes agencies, we should ensure that we use the preventive mechanism. We shouldn't allow the leakages to happen or the diversions, because if you allow it to happen, before you recover, you will meet a lot of challenges. Some of them, if you are not careful, it will even take you to court. And we know that in court, sometimes it will take many years for you to resolve some of the disputes or issues around issue of corruption. And if there is one place that needs strengthening of accountability and transparency is the NDDC, because of the huge projects that you are executing there, and because this country needs that area to be stable.
In his remarks, the Managing Director of NDDC, Dr. Samuel Obuku, underscored the importance of stakeholder engagement, particularly through the Partners of Sustainable Development Initiative, which he said brings together international oil companies, state governments, and local communities for inclusive project planning and budgeting.
The relationship between ICPC and NDDC have come a long way, where ICPC too in the past have also had some interface with NDDC in the area of training and also other form of technical support. Apart from that, we know that the ICPC have also been able to support the NDDC in making some recoveries. We want to say thank you very much for all the support we have been giving to the NDDC.
The meeting concluded with a shared commitment to the upcoming celebration of NDDC's 25th anniversary, which will serve as an opportunity to showcase achievements, reflect on lessons learned, and outline strategies for sustainable development. Both agencies reaffirmed their dedication to fighting corruption, improving service delivery, and ensuring inclusive, people-centered development for the Niger Delta region. That will be all on this segment. Transparency Files continues with Hawa. Stay with us.
Corruption not in my country.
Hi. We are here for registration.
Can I have your number, please? 49. Number 2 just left my office now.
So,
It is number 3 Stone.
are you saying I have to be on the queue? Do you know who you're talking to?
Our policy says we should queue. Madam, it is high time we started doing things right in this country. Next, please. Turn around.
Mr. Brief, you really need this money for a new pair of shoes.
That notwithstanding, I shall not be bribed. This is corruption, not in my country.
Stop corruption now. Corruption not in my country.
If you are just joining us, this is Transparency Files. Fathers play a vital role in society, not just as providers, but as educators, mentors, and moral compasses. When they uphold and promote ethical behavior, they help dismantle the culture of corruption, one family at a time. We spoke to a cross-section of fathers who are leading by example, mentoring others, instilling values in their children, and standing against corruption from within their homes and communities. Let's hear from them.
The most important role is being present, always listening to your kids, creating time for them, playing with them, that listening has an undertone. Not just listening because you want them to be kids, but sometimes emotional connection. One of the things I've come to understand as a father is God in his infinite wisdom gave man that role for this particular purpose. As a dad, you chart the course. It's like being a captain in a ship. You are the one that charts the course where you want the ship to go to. At a point in time, sometimes you need to speak to your crew, encourage them. There are do's and don'ts on the ship. And if the captain is not firm, then the sailing may not, the navigation may not really take you there. So as a dad, you are the one that set how you want the world to see what your family represents. And that reputation, you are the custodian of it. It's not as if the other people don't play a role, but it is your name that is out there.
You must build integrity in children. Trustworthiness. You must also build hard work. Let them know the value of hard work and integrity. Let them also know what it is to be disciplined also is key. Because if you have a home that you don't have disciplined children, that's where it starts from.
Children learn easily by copying, by seeing what parents do, how parents live. Is to live a model, so that I should be a model to my kids. They should be able to copy from me, to see what I'm doing, and to also want to be like me. Teach them the fear of God. Teach them to obey the laws of the land. There are simple rules and regulations. When you tell them to respect elders, greet elders, when they are asked to do certain things, they should obey. And also, little things like obey traffic rules. Don't go to school late. It starts from there. And as they grow, you instill what? Discipline. Anywhere they falter, anywhere they go wrong, you draw their attention. And there are situations that you may apply discipline. You may correct them. You may need to use rod after several warnings.
I am a Nigerian, a highly cultured race. My culture abhors corruption. And with my integrity, a new Nigeria is possible. I say no to corruption today to build a future for my children. Join me and imbibe the culture of integrity to build a Nigeria of our dreams.
Thank you for staying with us. Being an anti-corruption champion isn't about holding a title. It's a lifestyle, a commitment made every single day. Fathers who consistently teach integrity, accountability, and transparency create ripple effects that can transform society. Of course, it's not without its challenges. Economic pressures, social expectations, and sometimes a lack of support can make this journey difficult. So, how do we encourage and empower more fathers to lead with integrity? We put that question to Barrister Ocholi Okupeta. Here's what he had to say.
Fathers and parents generally, but fathers as the leaders of the home, have the most critical role, because when you deal with society, everybody in society is a product of a home, a product of a primary system. Like when you study in social studies, you see that that's the most critical unit of society, because everyone comes through a family. Nobody fell from heaven. When you see it from that perspective, you now have to look at the structure of the home, where the parents lead and the fathers particularly lead. So if you want to talk about champions of anything in life, any value, any vice, any issues, then you are really pointing at the fathers. So talk about as champions of anti-corruption and whatever vice is associated with it, then the man has a critical role to play in terms of the value that he carries, which is the value he would pass. Because everybody you meet in society is essentially an inheritor of, values. So the father has the responsibility to first become, then he can make others. So for the father to play that role, he needs to first become. Then when you deal with societies like ours, sometimes we have a way of blaming every other thing but the thing that we should blame. We talk about corruption, we talk about Yahoo boys, economic crime, whatever you want to talk about, somebody is doing it before another generation learns it. You see, you talk about, for example, greed and contentment. If you talk about those two concepts, it's missing in a lot of homes. You see, the level of ambition, inordinate ambition that a lot of fathers project, it doesn't matter what they say. The children are going to end up finding more innovative ways to be corrupt, because what is driving what we are against is different from what we are against. So our focus is on the corruption without looking at the foundation on which it stands. So if I have inordinate affection, if I cannot defend before my children the level of our living, how are we living the life we live? What do you do? Sometimes they ask you this question. How do you earn money? You see, if I can't defend it, then let's even take it to the height of it. Besides this foundation, some fathers actually go out of their way to make sure they teach it. That's why you have children writing WAEC at special centers, enabled by parents, standing at the window, doing their best. And you won't tell me tomorrow that that child will see 2 billion that can change his generational, situation, and he will not steal it. Because the code is, if he did not get proper ambition, he inherits inordinate ambition, he inherits, breaking simple rules. He will break the big rules when he needs to. We must incentivize doing right. That's what we must do. Anytime you actually look at the ultimate picture of what you do, you realize that it becomes a major incentive to do right. Very, very major incentive to do right. So a lot of times, you see, we don't pay attention to the ultimate. If fathers are going to get the point, we must take the stories of the impact of the corruption we have in this nation. You see, when people die on the roads, we don't think about politicians. We don't think about people in power. But when people die on the roads don't make themselves. Somebody failed in his responsibility. So we must incentivize the conversation by talking about the consequence of what we have done. Basically, if we do not educate in that wise, we will never improve the character and the condition of the men in our society.
Welcome back. It's time now for our Know Your Act segment. How well do you know the Corrupt Practices and Other Related Offences Act 2000, the law that empowers the ICPC? This week, we speak with Barrister Fatima Barde from our Legal Services Department. She sheds light on the legal consequences of making false statements with the intent to mislead. Let's take a look.
So making a false statement can be found under Section 25 of the ICPC Act. The elements of this offense essentially include that the offender must make a statement. That statement must be made to a public officer or to an officer of the commission. And the statement must have been received by such an officer in the course of his official duties. So what we're trying to say is, the offender makes a false statement, and such a statement must be untrue, intended to mislead, or inconsistent with a statement he made in the past. The penalty of making a false statement is 2 years imprisonment with an option of fine of 100,000 naira or both.
Before we wrap up, let's bring you updates from our ICPC state offices across the country.
A report from Enugu State Office reveals that the ICPC has inaugurated the Anti-Corruption and Transparency Unit Act 2 of the Federal College of Forest Resources Management, Ishiagu, Ebonyi State. Representing the resident anti-corruption commissioner, Mr. Kabir Elelu, was Assistant Commissioner Nuhu Gabriel. The commission's team was received by the provost, Dr. Mrs. Osla Ukamaka, along with other senior officials. During the inauguration, the oath of office was administered by Deputy Superintendent Uchechukwu Aka, followed by a presentation from Principal Superintendent Anyanwu A. Emanuela on the 2023 Standing Order for Act 2 operations. ICPC Sokoto State Office has sensitized members of the NYSC Anti-Corruption Community Development Service, CDS Group, on the Commission's mandate and the critical role of young Nigerians in the anti-corruption crusade. The event, which took place at Federal Government College, Sokoto, featured a presentation by Mr. Abdullahi Ibrahim Aliu, Assistant Superintendent, who represented the resident Anti-Corruption Commissioner. He called on the core members to embrace integrity, transparency, and accountability in all spheres of life, while urging them to act as change agents in their respective communities. And lastly, from Rivers State comes a report that the ICPC NYSC CDS Group in Port Harcourt local government area carried out a sensitization campaign for over 100 students at Bufem Primary and Secondary School themed Why Nigeria Needs You to Be Different. The event aimed to instill the values of integrity, honesty, and accountability in students while highlighting their role in national development.
And that brings us to the end of this week's edition of Transparency Files. Don't forget to join us every Friday at 6:30 p.m. on the NTA Network and NTA International. Let's continue working together to build a more transparent, accountable, and corruption-free Nigeria. Until next time, I am Hawasani Garba saying bye for now.